All right. On today's 30-minute mechanic, we're back on the Greenbean. I drove it around the parking lot yesterday. It ran not so great. I need to tweak the EFI quite a bit. But it drove out and it drove back under its own power. But pulled it in, noticed it was leaking some oil. So we're going to dig in and see what that's all about. So buckle up. Let's go. All right, like I said, took the Greenbean for a little drive around the parking lot yesterday. It ran okay. I think it's low on transmission fluid. I don't think I have enough transmission fluid in it, so it's a little weird. Had some cells in the VE table that were too lean, so it was kind of popping, lean popping out the exhaust and kind of acting weird. But the fact remains, it drove out, around the parking lot a few times, and back into the shop, into its spot, under its own power. So I didn't have to jack it up, didn't have to pull it in. But I did notice, after leaving it sitting, that there was a puddle of, there was some oil under it, a puddle of oil. And, you know, given the problems I've had with rear main and that thing, I was like, oh no, it's going to be a rear main. Well, I don't think it's a rear main. I've already sopped it up, but you can see right down in here, this upper pressure port where I'm pulling oil from my turbo feed, which is kind of a big line, but whatever. There was oil everywhere back here. It was all over. So I think it's actually running down out of here because there was a gob of oil there. So we're going to see if we can pull that stuff apart, maybe put a longer brass fitting in there to raise it up so it's a little easier to get to. And we might replace that feed line over to the turbo because that's some of that line that I've used that got hard and started breaking on the inside. So we're going to dive in and see if we can get this taken care of. All right, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see because it's way down in there right now, but you'll be able to see some in a minute. And of course, I'm not prepared. All right, first thing we're going to do is get this little connector out of the way. What is going on here? What you're doing, but you're in the way. There. Now, first thing I'm going to do is try to get that oil pressure gauge fitting loose. Man, this is way down in the... Gosh, that's tight. I'm turning the... Oh, that's the... Never mind. Hang on. Yeah, got the wrong side of the wrench. Let's do this first. You know what? You know what? That may not have been very tight. Maybe I need to save myself and double check. Here's the stumpy wrench. You know what? Regardless if that was tight or not, I'm going to replace that so it's not so far so far down in the hole. And that fitting didn't seem super tight, so that's probably what the leak was right there, but see, it was leaking. It had oil all around here, like it was leaking around this fitting. So that may be fine. I probably just didn't have it tight. But since this is so far down in here, I'm going to try to get this. I have no idea what size that is. 5/16 maybe. I'm going to get the feed line for the oil pressure gauge. The oil pressure gauge feed line off. Ouch. Which didn't seem super tight in itself. I can't turn it. Yeah. Watch off. Dude. Well, maybe we can get the other one loose here. It seems to be somewhat snug. Ouch. Keep smushing my finger. Okay, that one's loose too. And it just fell apart. Where did that go? Look at that. Great. I heard it. Oh, I think I see it. Well, thought it did. Oh, there it is. It just shot around. That may have been where the leak was too. I don't know. There may be leaks everywhere. I need a rag. Cut my knuckle too. I know people are going, dang, James, why do you got such a big feed line for your turbo? Well, because, hang on, let me put this somewhere where I'm not going to lose it. Because I had that line when I was building the Nanner pickup. I bought a bunch of this line and all the fittings and everything. And that's just what I had on hand, so I just used it. And when I put it in this car, I decided, well, I'll just use it again. Now we got to find a socket, probably. See if we can get the rest of those things out of there. So, time out. got me a, if you remember, if you watched any of my Red 95 turbo project, you know I had some fun buying brass fittings for the oil turbo feed on it. And bing, I think this is one of them that I bought that I didn't end up using. And now I'm getting to use it on this rig. So basically what I'm gonna do is put just a little bit of Teflon tape. People go, oh no, Teflon tape. Dang it, Teflon tape is fine as long as you don't go bonkers. You don't go crazy with it. Just a little bit works fine. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do both ends. Oops. A couple of wraps. We're gonna put our T on there. So this dude's quite a bit longer than the one we're taking out. So that'll raise it up down in there where we can kind of get our hand on it a little better, I think. Let's get started. Weird thing is this port goes in at an angle. Well, I'm trying. There it goes. Getting her started. Now I'm just tightening it up from the top. Maybe. Tighten it all up at once. And one of them gets snug, the next one will start snugging up. Pretty darn good right there, I think. I'm going to go ahead and put this feed line back on the top here. It'll fit a little differently now since it's taller, but that's okay. We'll wiggle it around where it needs to go. Let's find our specially modified wrench here. I bought these wrenches at Harbor Freight years ago, and they're so dang long. I ended up cutting a bunch of them off just because you try to use them and you couldn't. They'd bonk into stuff before you could actually tighten anything. And I always need them for like AN fittings and stuff. Try to get that nice, really snug this time. I think that's probably okay. Not a big fan of that, particularly. Wish it was pointed more. Nope, don't like that. Gotta undo it. It's a 45-degree fitting. You can tell, but then it decided it wanted to point at the firewall. Tighten it up. There. That one's tight. Whew, we're in that time of year where anything I do in the shop makes me sweat like crazy. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go look in my fittings drawer and see if I can come up with a better fitting for that oil pressure. I was thinking I have a copper line around here somewhere. Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Yep, that'll be a project for another 30-minute mechanic. I'm almost sure I have a copper line set sitting around here somewheres. Let's see if we can get this at least fixed for now, and then we'll replace that plastic line with the copper line at a later date. Need some pliers, I think. Sometimes this works. Sometimes this doesn't work. Trying to reuse these things. Okay. You have to stop. Stop, drop, and roll. Hold on. All right, we're back. Did have a microphone die in there somewhere, so there's no telling what audio you got and what audio you didn't get. Okay, that one slid on there. We'll slide it up there quite a ways so it doesn't accidentally disappear. We got to put this guy, or of course, again. Actually, let me find that is half. Is that a half or 7/16? I think it's a half. Halfer. I think it's a 7/16. Okay. And again, we're going to put just a little bit of Teflon tape on there. We're going to go crazy with it. Get up there. We're going to stick it in our reducer down in there. Why didn't I do this part when it was out? It seems like that would have been a smart idea. Wrong way. I don't know who invented the ratcheting box end, but they're a genius. Genius. I may have to turn that fitting some more. Dang it. Might have to, because it's going to be... Oh my goodness, look at that. I'm leaking everywhere. Poked a hole in the back of my hand. Okay. This little guy. We can plug it in. This is definitely one of those situations where you can see what you want to do, but it's really hard to get your hands in there. To do it. Now what are we going to do? Still leaking, see? Need to get a, what was that, a 9/16? Let's get the big 5/8. Still a 5/8. Not a, that didn't work. I'm trying to turn that fitting down in there. I don't know if I can get this wrench on there or not. Nope. Cannot. All right, got my favorite pair of crescent deals. Favorite crescent wrench ever. Because it is locking. It'll lock. Okay, we're just gonna. I don't want to. Yeah, that'll work. That's looking good. This car doesn't have enough flat surfaces to lay tools. All right, let's make sure that hose is. That line is in there good. That's the wrong size. So what we're going to do is tighten that dude up. Make sure everything's tight. And then we're going to put us a clean paper towel down there. Okay, everything's tight. We're going to put us a clean paper towel down in there to that way we can kind of judge if it leaks. We can kind of tell where it's coming from. Turn it where that's pointed. Over there. Okay, cool. I guess all we got to do is kind of pick up some stuff here and then fire it up and see where it leaks. See if it leaks. Well, that's some real confidence where it leaks. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go open the door. All right, got a door up, got a battery on. What we might do is turn our microphones off so you can actually hear the car. Let's see if this thing will, battery's hooked up, everything's clear. Let's see if it'll start. All right, we know what the problem is. It's leaking at this reducer right there, which you probably can't see because it's probably not focusing. But there's a reducer, goes from 1/4 inch MPT down to 1/8 inch. That reducer's leaking right there. You see it on my finger. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm out of time for today. So, I'll fix that and we'll move on to other more interesting things on our next episode. All right. That'll do it for 30-Minute Mechanic today. It's always a good day in the shop when you get to fire up the Greenbean and let her run for a little bit. We figured out where our oil leak was. We tried to fix it. Didn't have a whole lot of success, but we know exactly where it is and we can fix it off camera. No sweat. So check out the description. Check out my friends' channels. But for now, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.